Hey everybody, this is Austin Upchurch. You're listening to the Arch City Music Podcast live from the Barn Studios. Check it out.
And I've cried when I'm all alone, been a rag doll, tossed and thrown. Those things don't matter now, darling, I won't let it show that I've cried when I'm all alone. Hey there, sunshine, tell me where you've been. I've been lonesome when I need a friend.
Welcome to the Arch City Music Podcast live from the Barn Studio. Have Chad, me, myself, hey, and we have Austin. Never introduced myself before, but I guess we just did. Austin, how's it going, man?
It's going good. And for clarification, I'm Austin Bosler. We've got Austin Upchurch here. How you doing, other Austin?
Man, I'm hanging in strong for the Austins in Texas right now.
Yeah, thanks for joining us, man. You calling us from Texas, I guess?
Yep, Godly, Texas. I'm standing on my porch right now watching my chickens.
Going out on the road here in a few days.
Yeah, actually, it's funny. We're going to Colorado this weekend for some shows. So we'll go up there, do a couple of private things, and then we come back, and then we're back for 2 days, and then we're heading y'all's way.
And we're going to be catching you July 9th with Gio and the Hired Guns and Austin Upchurch, who we have with us live at the camp at Lake Wapapella in Missouri. It's like southeastern-ish Missouri, I guess.
Absolutely, just outside Poplar Bluff.
Heck yeah, boys.
Yeah.
I've never been to Southeast Missouri.
You ever been to anywhere in Missouri?
I have been to very, very northeast Missouri and then around Ozarks.
Okay.
Fun. Well, the Ozarks ain't too far, as a crow flies at least. And you are going to be on a lake in Missouri, so maybe it'll feel familiar.
Oh, man, I hope so. The lakes up there are beautiful.
And you'll get that southern hospitality, too. I think you're going to be very, very, very happy with the crowd that comes out. I mean, they're real excited for you, and I can speak on that because I'm real excited for this show. It's going to be a good time.
Dude, I'm super pumped, man. I've never had a bad time in Missouri. It's actually one of my favorite places to go of, like, the entire United States.
We're excited to have you. That's July 9th. At the camp at Lake Wapapella, Austin Upchurch, Gio and the Hired Guns. I love that billing. We interviewed Gio recently, and we told him the same thing. That billing of you two just totally makes sense to me because I feel like both of you guys are just blurring the lines of genre, blurring the lines of what people, I think, consider country music at times, and I love that bill.
I really think it's great, too. I've known Gio for a long time. I've always been a huge fan of his music. And it's guys like him and my other buddy Cody West that really have been pushing it. I've always kind of wanted to steer it towards the more alternative indie rock section because that's really what I'm kind of into. So those guys really kind of knocked the wall down and kind of gave me the I guess, confidence to really explore that kind of stuff. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. They laid your foundation. You're building
Absolutely.
upon that. So have you played with Gio before?
Yeah, man, we played with Gio quite a few times.
I figured because you actually weren't the original opener for the show at the camp. It was going to be Dylan Wheeler. It changed. I don't know why, but I'm excited about it because I love Dylan, like you a lot too. So you didn't get too much notice for that, huh?
No, it was actually crazy. We were told at first we didn't get it, much like you said. So we were in the middle of doing something else, trying to figure that out, when Gio's management actually reached out to me and said that we got it. So we were like, oh, great. So we just told everybody else that we had stuff to do, and now, man, we're super excited to be heading y'all's way.
Yeah, and we're going to be down there to catch you live at that show, so very much looking forward to it. Now,
I'm super pumped, man.
Well, and Gio was telling us a little bit about you guys. You know, I asked if you played together, but I know you know each other well, and we were just talking with him. You know, Chad said recently, recently as in an hour ago.
Yeah.
And one of the things we were talking about is how close-knit the whole Texas country music and rock scene seems to be. I mean, everybody knows everybody down there, it seems like, huh?
Yeah, man, and it's crazy how small of a world it is too. Like I actually texted Dylan Wheeler today. You know, the thing that's wild is I actually found out about Gio through my old roommate in college. They grew up in the same town, and he introduced me to his music. And I really enjoyed it, and I ran into him a few times in Stephenville, and we just kind of hit it off from there, you know?
Well, and you know what? We asked him, and he told me to ask you about how many more ducks did Kyan Barnes kill than you?
Oh, my gosh. You guys are going to do me like this live on the pod?
No, don't shoot the messenger. Gio did you like this live on the pod.
Oh,
Don't shoot the messenger like you didn't shoot those ducks.
hey,
Okay, now it might be us.
hey, I'm going to have to make up some wild and crazy conspiracy theory to get back at Gio.
Yeah, if you got any secrets you want to break live here,
Dude,
go for it.
You know what it is? Hey, Gio put me out. I'm going to start telling everybody he's Italian. I'm just going to be like, yeah, dude, he's actually Italian. He's an Italiano funk boy.
Yeah, that's the plot. That's the total plot twist right there.
Oh, yeah.
You and
slowly turn everybody against him.
You and Gio do have something in common, and anytime I get a chance to bring up metal, I'm going to. And we talked a little bit off air. You are a metalhead as well.
Oh my gosh, man! Metal is my freaking favorite.
Yeah,
I stay in the metal, punk rock, like kind of Midwest emo area. That is pretty much all I listen to all the time.
yeah. And I don't know if I hear metal, but I get a 90s vibe from your sound. A lot of your songs, especially the newer stuff.
Big time.
I definitely get an indie rock kind of sound from your new stuff. And, you know, we've talked before as like genres, you know, mean very little these days. And I feel like you guys and guys like Gio are really pushing that on a different way. If you're a music fan, I feel like you can, if you look hard enough, there's all kinds of music that you can find and dig.
Oh, 100%, man. I mean, every genre is just a little bit different, but they do so many cool things. And once you really look at it, everything and everybody is kind of doing musically the same thing. It's just presented in different ways. So I think it's always really cool to figure out what you can do that's not necessarily fundamentally different, but to change it up. You know what I mean? I think it's really cool.
That's a good way to put it, because I've always found it fascinating. And I mean, to be a musician, you have to be a different kind of creative, because there's only so many different things you can write a song about. But there's so much music and so many different perspectives on similar, you know, life events or a heartbreak or got your first car, you know. I mean, and it's interesting how people can always take similar themes and make them their own.
Oh, yeah. Like, it's funny you bring up the car. Our song Penelope is about my first car, you know?
Yeah.
Maybe I was trying to segue into that, but
hey, you know, like, it's really crazy because I was sitting down and, you know, I was listening to a lot of country music at the time, and we were first starting to go into the studio, and we were kind of really into the Tom Petty-esque, almost indie rock spin on it. So we were trying to throw in some low-key things like that. Like after the choruses in Penelope, it's got like a little ba 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 cha and stuff like that, and that's a more like punk rocky kind of little swing. Like the story so far does it a lot in the main, you know. So we've always kind of incorporated things like that into it, which I thought was really cool. And I was listening to a lot of the main, and I was like, man, I'm gonna write this song about my car, but I'm gonna make it sound like it's about a lady, you know, just how it came.
I like that comment about, you know, punk rock, and I have picked up on a term that I found on Twitter that made a lot of sense to me. People keep calling music like yours. In fact, I think I've seen it in direct reference to your music, but calling it y'alternative. Y'alternative.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's just a great way to put it. If that don't make sense to you, nothing's going to. You're singing y'alternative.
I think it's great. Dude, for a while, people were throwing out the shred dirt stuff, and I'm a bigger fan of y'alternative.
Yeah.
I haven't heard shred dirt. I do like that too, though.
Yeah.
And speaking of Tom Petty, I always like telling this story, but I very specifically remember the day Tom Petty died, because this was in college. I was in Cape Girardeau, Missouri, a little bit south of here, a little bit south, or I guess northeast of your show at the camp, right? But my buddy wakes me up at 8:20 in the morning. And on a day I don't have classes, and when you're in college, 8:20 is early as fuck. You're like, why are you, what in the hell, is the sun even up, Sam? I was like, fucker, this better be good. And he looks at me and he goes, Tom Petty died. And from there on out, we went on such a bender that day. I had to listen to, in one day, 18 hours of Tom Petty's discography. And I mean, just R.I.P.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, dude, are you complaining? That's like
No,
my
not
best
at all.
day
Well,
ever, dude.
I guess complaining
love
about the
to sit
wake-up
there.
call, but the rest of it was fantastic.
Dude, it's crazy you say that. I have a sad Tom Petty story, pretty much exactly like that. I was also in college, and I was sitting there, and I was on the phone with my dad because we had just went to the ACMs in Dallas, and we were going to Vegas for a NASCAR race coming up. And every year for our birthdays, we do like a big trip or something. My brother took us like ram hunting. My dad's going fishing this year. So for my year, I wanted to go and see Tom Petty. So I called my dad the day before. I said, Dad, we have to buy tickets to Tom Petty right now. He said, okay, we'll buy them tomorrow. I woke up the next morning. My dad called me and said, hey, did you see that Tom Petty died?
Oh, wow.
And I was like, no.
Oh my God, that day, huh?
Literally the next morning.
Holy shit, what a bummer.
Yeah, I was super sad.
Yeah, that one kind of affected me a little bit. You know how you have celebrities, even people that you like, they might pass away and you're like, oh, yeah, that's a bummer. But like, there are some celebrity deaths where you're like, man, that really actually hurt. Because I just feel like the world lost something at that point, you know?
Oh, yeah. So much meaningful content was made by that guy. You know what I mean?
And he
That is one person I
influenced,
wanted to meet.
he influenced so many people, and I don't think I've ever heard a single bad thing about him.
Oh, yeah. Tom Petty is single-handedly the most gangster, badass human that ever walked this earth. I don't care what anyone says.
Absolutely.
On the same wavelength there, I missed an opportunity in 2020. Granted, a lot of opportunities, but one in particular, my dad, for my birthday, bought me tickets to see Charlie Daniels Band open for Alabama. I had floor seats on the aisle at the Bridgestone Arena in Nashville for a concert that was slated for July 4th weekend. Obviously, COVID came and screwed that up, but then 2 weeks after what would have been that concert, Charlie Daniels goes and dies, and I never get to see him, and that was such a bummer. So I know how you feel. I know how you feel.
It's got to be an Austin thing, man.
Yeah.
We're cursed.
Yeah.
I guess, dude.
I'm a little worried about Chad at this point.
Hey.
Because I'm around a couple Austins. Just teasing.
Hey, hopefully nothing happens to Chad.
Yeah.
Well, Austin, we were talking about, we just had Gio on, and how all you Texas artists seem to, everybody knows everybody, and you're from Godley, Texas, which just about an hour and a half away from where Gio is in Stephenville, right?
Actually, did Gio tell you he was from Stephenville?
The internet told me he was from Stephenville.
Okay,
We talk about
'cause
mineral
unless
wells.
Gio moved, he actually lives only 20 minutes from my house.
That's cool. Well, tell us about growing up there and how you started to develop your music career.
Man, it's actually, I was a really late bloomer talking about music. So I grew up in Godley. I was really into music from a young age. I did the whole super band nerd, metalhead kid thing in high school, you know? So I wore skinny jeans and was on the drum line for forever. And I played tennis. I graduated and was going to college, and I was like, man, I don't have a musical outlet anymore. I need to figure something out. I would like to continue to be creative in that way, you know, in some way. And my stepdad had a guitar that we never did anything with. And I was like, hey, can I take this to college with me? He said, if you can learn a song before you leave, you can have it. And so I learned, like, I think it was a Tyler Farr song, like a guy walks into a bar or something. I literally Googled easiest song to play on guitar. That was the first one that came up. I taught myself the 2 chords that you need to play it. I played it, did not sing it at all, just played. And he said, okay, yeah, you can have it. So then we went to college, and me and my good friend Blake, we were out at Howard Payne University in Brownwood, Texas. A little tiny Baptist college, which we definitely did not fit in there because we like to party, you know? So Blake would go to class and I would learn guitar chords. And then when he would come back, I would show him the guitar chords and teach him how to play guitar. And he would give me the notes for class.
So
we did. I'm sorry, what was that?
No, go ahead.
That's like a shared learning experience, right? You go learn
Exactly.
the work. I can teach you guitar. That's kind of cool.
Yeah. So we did that for a little bit, and then Blake ended up going to work, so he didn't go back to school. So I moved in with my friends Aaron and Marshall, playing guitar. One of my buddies came in, and I didn't think anyone was home, so I was singing, getting into it. And he looked up, dude, you'd have thought you caught me with my pants down in my house. I threw the guitar across the room. I was so embarrassed. I was like, oh, hey. And he was like, man, hey, seriously. His name was Ben Long. I love this guy to death. He goes, yo, normally I would always talk shit to you about this. He was like, that was actually pretty good. We can do it again. And I was like, yeah. So I played it again, and I just started bringing my guitar around to parties. I had a crazy run-in with Thomas Rhett in Abilene. He was super supportive.
Yeah.
He's like, what's the name of your band? I said, I don't have one. I barely even know how to play guitar. He said, oh, well, you should look into that.
So
then I started playing acoustic shows.
We owe it all to Thomas Rhett, huh?
Thomas Rhett and Jake Worthington.
Do you still have any connection to Thomas Rhett? Are you in touch? Does he know that?
Absolutely not. This was a one-time thing.
Yeah.
Well, you ought to
but I have pictures and witnesses.
Well, we're going to reach back out to him on your behalf, start a Twitter campaign, and tell him to tune back in. I think he'd like what you're doing.
Dude,
I know we do.
Come on with it, brother. Like, I legit, I was like 18 or 19, underage. The people I was with were 21, so they were getting me drunk. And I knew like 2 of his songs. I was there, and I was standing right in front of the stage, just drunk, yelling, let me sing something. He called me on the stage. I was like, I don't know anything. And he was like, well, do you know any of my songs? And I was like, man, you played them all. And he goes, do you know anything else? And it's crazy because it was like since released like 5 years later and went #1 or whatever.
Yeah.
But I found a video of him acoustic singing a song called Star of the Show like a million years ago. And I said, hey man, I know this song. And he covered up the microphone and said, holy shit, dude, you know that? I said, yeah. I said, how? I said, I found a video of it on YouTube, And he was like, oh, great. Well, here, yeah. He turned around and was like, hey, it's a song I wrote for my wife because she told me all I write songs about is drinking beer. And I sang it.
Funny.
He played it. Everybody loved it. It was crazy. Everyone wanted to take pictures with me afterwards. It was cool.
That is such a cool story.
Yeah.
And I hadn't heard it yet, but Chad here did, because in our notes it says, crazy Thomas Rhett story. And
Yeah.
I'm thinking, I'm excited to hear that story.
Yeah, I saw you talk about that.
Yeah.
Saw you talk about that on an interview. When you was talking about it, I was like, holy cow, that's like something you see in a movie or something.
Literally.
Dude, it was the thing that's like, it just gets so much better because afterwards I had no musician etiquette. So I walk up to their bus and just knock on the door, which is obviously a huge no-no.
Hey, I'm here.
So this guy on the crew runs around and is like, hey, you can't be doing that. Runs up to me. And I was like, oh man, sorry. I sang on stage with him. I just wanted to say like, thank you or whatever. And he was like, oh, okay. And we started talking. He said, where do you go to college? I said, Howard Payne. And he goes, freaking Stingham Yellow Jackets, Brownwood, Texas. I said, yeah. He goes, I used to play soccer there. Hold up. Let me go see if he'll come outside. So we walked on the bus. 5 minutes later, Thomas Rhett walked out and talked to me outside.
Wow.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
You said Howard Payne ain't much of a party school, huh? But
Oh, 0%.
Yeah.
They were not a fan of me. My boss that I had when I was the sound guy for the chapel crew, she liked me because she could see the diamond in the rough, but everybody else was not a fan, probably.
Good on her.
I'd never heard of it before. I'm sure that doesn't surprise you, but I did look it up earlier out of curiosity and find that your alma mater has one of the coolest mascot names. The mascot is a yellow jacket named Buzzsaw. Is that right?
Oh, heck yeah, dude.
I mean, that's pretty badass. So, what,
Bro,
the score's 1-1. Don't know how to party. They got a cool name, though.
all my friends played football there, right? And our football team was so bad because all we did was hang out all the time. I swear, they didn't win one game the entire time I was in college.
That's funny. Hey, we actually have a mutual friend as well.
Really? Who?
So on Saturday, William Clark Green was in town in our little small town here. And
oh, gosh.
No more secrets on this one. But, well, maybe on Josh's part. So Josh Serrato, they invited us on the bus, and we're drinking moonshine on the bus. and with Josh Serrato, and he's actually produced your record.
Yeah, Serato has produced everything that we've done with the exception of one song.
What song was that?
All Wrong. It was the very first song I ever recorded. We did it somewhere, and let's just say I'm happy that we went and worked with Josh after that.
Super talented guy, that guy.
Dude, he's a freaking maniac. He can literally play anything. Me and our guitar player, Reed, showed up early to the studio one day. He had just got this guitar back and didn't even know we were there, and just sat down and casually just started playing the most freaking intricate guitar thing I've ever heard in my entire life. And we were just sitting there watching him, and then he started playing Eruption, just dicking around. And he turned around and was like, "Oh, guys, I'm sorry. I didn't know y'all were there." We were like, "Proceed, brother. We're not even here."
Well, the next time you talk to him, you got to ask him about the moonshine in Missouri. I think it did a number on that bus, and I won't say who else it did a number on, but we had a good time last Friday, I guess.
Dude, I'm just happy that you said it was Josh and not Will. I've embarrassed myself so many times around that guy. He probably hates me so much.
Oh, yeah? You think so?
I don't know. He's always been very, very nice to me, but I have been I used to drink all the time, and let's just say I don't anymore, and it's very good for my career.
Well, has your songwriting changed any, or your musical style since you stopped drinking?
No, not really. I can remember the words though now, so that's nice. Things like that.
That's funny that you mentioned remember the words, because you might think jokingly, but I'm sure that's a factor. If you get a little too have a little too much fun on stage, that's a lot of words to remember. Have you ever forgotten words on stage?
Oh, literally every time. Every single time.
I would too.
Is it always the same song?
Oh, dude, there's songs that I have forgot the words to so bad that I refuse to play anymore because I'm just so emotionally scarred by it,
It might be It might be a secondhand story, but Co Wetzel played a show in Columbia, Missouri, a handful of years ago that a friend of mine was at, and she said at one point he was laying down on stage with the mic and playing guitar, laying on his back on stage, and said something along the lines of, "Thank God you all know all the words, because I'm drunk as fuck. I forgot them all," or something like that. And as a, non-musician, I'm like, man, that seems kind of reckless and irresponsible. But if I were a musician, man, I wouldn't know how to act. Good on you guys for being able to keep it somewhat together, or at least look like you are.
Let me tell you my favorite one of all time, which surprisingly I didn't forget any words. Because once you've done it so many times, it's just kind of muscle memory. So you'll be like, "Oh God, I don't remember," and then it'll just come out. And you're like,
sure,
But we played one time in Oklahoma at this place called Diamond Ballroom. We played there with my friend Cody West, and we were in the green room before. And this guy from a dispensary, his name is Quaid. Shout out to Quaid. He was like, "Hey man, I got you some stuff if you want to try it." I was like, "Okay, great." And he's like, "It's called Weed Lean, and it's just like THC syrup that you put in a Sprite, as if it were lean, right?" And so I was like, this is what I do. I can handle this. I was like, 400 milligrams. I'm just going to dump it in there. I'll be all right. And I was like, I drink 1,000 milligram ones in Colorado at Steamboat. I got this. And my homie was like, "Yo, dude, seriously, don't do that." And I was like, "Why?" He's like, "Just don't do it." So I poured half of it in there. I was like, "Okay, I can hit 200 easy." And it, it's not like eating it or smoking it. Like, it hits you like 5-10 minutes. And so I walk out onto the stage with my second cup of Weed Lean. I walk out and I get to the microphone. And there's a whole bunch of people looking at me. And I walked up and said, and all the guys in the band looked at me, and I was like, "Oh my gosh." I couldn't talk. And then we started just playing the song, and I sang every word. It was great. It was just muscle memory. I just could not talk at all in between.
Funny. Is there any kind of video or audio of that anywhere that we could find?
I freaking hope not. Hey, Robert Earl might have one stashed away somewhere in the archives.
Yeah.
That is funny.
Speaking of your songs, do you care if we play a little bit and talk about a couple of yours?
Dude, absolutely. I love it. I think it's a great idea.
So we both picked one to talk about, and this one's Austin's 100 Thoughts.
Okay, yeah.
Yes, she loves me when I'm home, but does she love me when she's all alone? And she's sitting home crying, and I'm on the road trying. It's gonna be okay. It's gonna be alright.
So that was, if I researched correctly, the third song you've ever released. Am I right?
Yes, absolutely, 100%.
And that might be part of why it's one of, if not my personal favorite, because some people, they get high on that, like, oh, I liked him before he was cool and blah, blah, blah. And that being one of your older songs, I imagine a lot of your fans might not have heard it. And I love digging deeper into artists' discographies like that and seeing how their music may have changed over time. And that one in particular, just I really vibed with, I guess. And tell me a little bit more about, what that song means to you, what you wrote it about.
Okay, so Austin, I'm going to tell you, you're a man after my own heart here. I'm telling you.
It's all in the name, brother. We
Because-
got to stick together.
We're having an Austin off.
Oh, yeah. So we're starting a little bromance via phone right now. But so that song, no joke, to this day, is legitimately one of my favorite songs that we've ever done. So I just started writing, and my favorite band of all time is a little indie rock emo band out of Arizona called The Maine.
Okay.
Love The Maine. And so I've always wanted, you could ask Josh, from the day I stepped foot in his studio, I was like, I want to sound like The Maine, So we've always tried to find ways to do that. So I was in a relationship at the time, and I was gone all the time, playing shows and working and doing all this stuff. And I went through a phase where I did nothing but write songs while I was driving. Like the windshield time, just let it flow. And so I was sitting there thinking, like, oh my gosh, I'm writing all these songs while I'm driving, And I was like, 100 thoughts just going through my head while I'm driving. I'm like, oh, 100 thoughts driving through my head. I'm driving through the night. Bam, 100 thoughts. Sat down to write the song. I was having a hard time doing, I wrote the choruses pretty easily. And then I was sitting down talking to Reed, who's my guitar player / BFF, co-writer guy. And he was like, yeah, dude, I really think that's cool. Let me, see if I can throw some lines your way, help you out. I was like, okay. And he did. And he actually, I think he wrote pretty much all of the second verse. But I had that, yeah, she loves me when I'm home, but does she love me when she's all alone? Because I was gone all the time. And I've had a history in the past of having people cheat on me all the time. So I just naturally am suspicious.
Yeah.
Well, that's awesome, Austin, and I love that they're, you like that one so much, because I guess that makes me, that was good reassurance. Like, oh, cool, I got sick music taste, yeah. But
oh yeah,
I like hearing, your reason behind it, because what I immediately resonated to, and I guess to get a little personal, is I had a breakup where everything seemed great. I was on vacation, everything seemed great. All of a sudden, talked to her on Saturday. That was the last time I ever heard from her. To this day, it's crazy. And
no way.
Up until the day I left, literally not a thing wrong. And I was just like, whoa. Wow. I'm on a bachelor party in Nashville, having the time of my life, being a nice, loyal boyfriend. And, well, whoa. Wow. So I heard that song, and, immediately that comes back to mind. And I love, contrary to what some people might think, I like when songs make me sad.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, the whole thing with that song and my motto about music making is I want to play something majory that sounds happy and bright, like 100 Thoughts, but I want it to be something that's like real and knocks you down, kind of. I want to pick you up while also kicking your feet out from underneath you. You know?
Man, I love songs like that. I love the dichotomy of like it sounds super poppy and happy, but it's actually talking about something dark. And like I always think about Pumped Up Kicks.
Oh my God, yeah.
Gio murders that.
Oh, he covers it? Oh, that'd be cool.
Oh, maybe. How much? How do you think we would go about getting him to play that at the camp?
Dude, just ask him. I guarantee you he'll freaking smash that bad boy.
Yeah.
We'll have you give him some of that weed lane backstage, and he'll be happy to play it, I'm sure.
Dude, that's a hot commodity. I've only ever experienced it one time.
Yeah, but you know what I mean, though, where it sounds super happy. And I remember when that song came out, like Paris Hilton was like, this is my favorite jam that I'm going to come out to. And it's like, you know, talking about some pretty dark, deep, heavy stuff.
Yeah, I believe it's about a school shooting, right? Sure. I mean,
I believe it's about like Columbine.
Yeah.
Stuff,
yeah.
You know?
But it sounds so poppy but yeah.
Oh, yeah, dude.
I love songs like that. And I love on a lot of your music where, you know, you openly talk about some of your struggles, whether it's, you know, mental health related or, you know, personal breakups or social struggles or whatever it might be. I love that you're so transparent about some of that. And it comes across clearly in your songs and your lyrics.
Dude, thank you, man. I appreciate that. I pride myself on being nice and being open. You know, I'm not going to lie to you, nothing. I'm just going to tell you how it is. And a lot of the times for me, music's my outlet, so it makes it a lot easier, you know.
And, you know, we're mental health advocates, so I think but the more the guys sit around and talk about, hey, you know, we don't have it all together either. You know, we need help sometimes too, and kind of get away from that, you know, masculinity that's been on the forefront of society for so many years. I think the better it is for society.
The hardest thing that you can do as a man, and when I mean hard, I mean like the toughest manly thing you can do as a man is be weak at times. Like legit, it's just how it is. You're a human.
Absolutely.
So
speaking,
let me drive one more point home here.
Sure.
So like I said, I'm going to harp on it all day because they're my favorite. But the Maine, that's like their thing. They're super emo. And I actually really started like writing about a lot of stuff because they have a song that's called How Do You Feel? And it's actually the song that inspired me to write Better Days that we put on our record. And it starts out, and I even say, like, how do you feel in the song as kind of a tip of the hat to that one.
Oh, cool.
But the Maine, they have a song that says, deeply depressed and brokenhearted, I'd like to let you know that boys cry too.
Oh,
wow. I've always thought that was, like, super hard. So I was like, yeah, let's get emo in some of these songs because that's who I am as a person, and that's what I deal with. So, yeah.
I do have a funny story. Getting into your catalog here recently with this interview coming up, and I have my earbuds in and I'm mowing my yard, and I hear the song For a While, and I hear the lyric, she's so damn honest, and I'm like, I've heard this before. And that's actually a cover song from the band Camino, which is a band that I absolutely love.
Dude, the band Camino is incredible. I'm so happy you know that because everyone always asks me, when did you write that? I'm like, I didn't.
Yeah.
You know?
Their song Black and White, I absolutely love that. So they have a ton of songs that I love.
Bernstein. Yep. Oh, dude, I could talk band Camino with you all day.
I love that
and
band.
Those guys were so cool, man. Like, I reached out to their management when we were going to do that song because obviously I have no idea professionally what you're supposed to do in that regard. I didn't want to put it out and then get sued.
Kind of like you walked up to Thomas Rhett's bus and just like...
Yeah, you know. So I was like, this time I have a little bit of etiquette. Let me figure this out correctly. So I emailed all their management and stuff, and Jameson Romper, I believe is his name, emailed me back right away. It was like, dude, absolutely, cover the shit out of it.
Wow.
Send it to us when you're done. So they were super cool about it.
That's the only approval that you needed? Like you didn't have to go through some kind of legality or anything?
From what I understand, as long as when you put it out, everything is in order that says you did not write it, they did, and they get their royalties and stuff off of it, I hear it is perfectly legal.
All right.
Interesting.
Can we talk about my choice?
I would love to hear your choice, Chad. Come on.
All right, brother. I'm coming. Here we go.
By the look in your face, I know what you're feeling. a matter of time before you get out on your own. When it gets hard to say what you're feeling, it's time for the change, something you're needing. It's a matter of time before it all falls apart. And are we just wasting nights?
Speaking of emotional lyrics,
Oh yeah.
that's Somebody from the EP, 3-song EP, Sometimes the Sun Hurts Me. Can you tell us a little bit about Somebody?
Oh, absolutely. So once again, another point in my life, I'm going through a breakup. You know, it was just one of those where everything just kind of, like, there was nothing catastrophically wrong. We just kind of transitioned into the period of, like, being roommates, you know? So nothing was changing. It was a hard time for both of us. We were trying to figure out what to do. And those waters are a little hard to navigate.
Sure.
I bet.
So me, you know, being a obnoxiously emo, Midwest emo guy, I was like, let's write a song about it. So naturally, I wanted to write from the aspect of me knowing myself. I'm like a relationship person. I like having a companion and a partner. So as that door was coming to a close, I was going through some times. It was right before I quit drinking. I was acting crazy. It was not a good time. And so that was kind of, in a way, my like cry for help song, like writing it out. You know, is there anybody out there? Can anybody help me? You know, I just want someone to make me feel okay. And so this is kind of funny. It tees into how Giovanni changed my life. I owe everything good to him. I was fishing with him at his house, telling him about this relationship I was in. And he said, dude, get out of the water, get off of my kayak, go home, end your relationship, and come back, and we'll keep fishing. And I was like, dude, you know what? You know, I'm going to do it. So with my new freaking found confidence distilled in me from my good friend Giovanni Inez, I drove home, had the hard conversation, ended it, went back, kept fishing with Gio, hanging out. And then like 5-6 months later, he called me, said, hey, we're playing a show in Fort Worth. You got to come play it with us. And I was like, okay. And I actually met my now wife at that show.
Wow.
Crazy times, right?
Dude, you got a book.
Yeah.
You got a book in you, man. You need to be writing all this down.
That is so cool.
Dude, I would tell you that what I'm going to do, but I don't want anyone to steal my idea. But let me just tell you, I'm plotting something with my life in bandom. One day, everyone will see it.
All right.
But that one is crazy. We really wanted to get a little heavier with it, you know, especially with Gio and all them kind of pushing boundaries. I was like, let's really go for it on this EP. So that was our first song that we really kind of let our hair down on.
Yeah.
And I love to say it because the like bridge part, I really wanted it. I was like, man, let's make it sound like ranch steam, you know, just big and drivey, like just that big arena German metal-y kind of sound. And that's what we did. And I think it's super cool. It's one of my favorite songs that we ever did too.
I have a question. You decided to open the EP with that one. Was that just the obvious choice for you, or did you have any pushback from other people in the band, or?
No. So I'm actually happy you brought this up because I obnoxiously overthink and put little Easter eggs and ambiance things in for things that I like and stuff like that. So sunshine, sometimes the sun hurts me is a metaphor for kind of exactly what the record lays out, or not the record, but the EP, whatever you want to call it. And so what it is sunshine, and the sun in this regard is a metaphor for love and how it can burn you, but also it can make you feel warm. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right.
So sometimes you can get hurt by it and sometimes not. So it's sometimes the sun hurts me. So the songs go from a point of, can somebody just help me? I'm so not enjoying where I'm at, to the next one called Sinking, which is when you're kind of sinking into your depression, but you're also kind of figuring it out.
Yeah.
And that's the song where it says, you know, get out of your own way. You're making the problem by not solving it. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So then from there, it goes into, you know, I'm so sad, somebody help me, to I was writing the song Sunshine, making it super emo about myself. And right when we played with Gio, I showed it to him. He was like, oh yeah, it's kind of missing something. I met my wife that night. I hung out with her for like 2 or 3 weeks, literally told all my friends, I was like, dude, I found my wife. She is fucking perfect. She's incredible. I'm going to marry this girl. So I started, my songwriting at that point really dramatically changed. Everything I'd been writing at the time and going to that moment has been, you know, I can't figure it out. What's wrong? Blah, blah, blah. And then it was finally like this moment of clarity. Everything is lined up where it needs to be. So it went from being super sad, you know, the I've cried when I'm all alone kind of stuff, to going a little more brighter in my newfound, you know, sunshine that's brightening my entire existence.
Yeah. And now that I think that, now that you're saying that, it makes sense to me, because it goes from somebody to sinking to sunshine. Pretty cool, man. And I think you even did that a little bit, like sort of a concept record with your last one, Breakdown, where it kind of
100%
kind of followed 100%. A storyline or some kind of story to your life. Is that right?
Yes, absolutely. I'm so happy you caught that. Every single song, Honey included, on that record, it's called Breakdown, because every single thing there is some situation in my life that makes me feel like I'm going to have a mental breakdown.
Yeah. So when I say you need to be writing all this down, you kind of are, just through your songs.
Yeah, pretty much.
Mike, drop that. Holy shit. We're vibing here, man. We are with Austin Upchurch. We're going to be catching him July 9th with Gio and the Hired Guns. You are going to go to austytalksmusic.com. He is on all the platforms. You can get his music everywhere music's available. You want to give out your socials so we can catch you there too?
Oh, yeah. I'm on Instagram, Austin Upchurch Music. I'm on Twitter, at Austin Upchurch Music, Facebook, Austin Upchurch Music, I believe. We're literally everywhere. Awesome. Definitely check us out. We got the website as well. We got some new stuff coming out in July. You know, give you a little details. It's for a little collaboration with another band that I've looked up to for many years. They're a punk band from Denton, Texas. A little band called Bowling for Soup.
Okay.
No way.
Yeah, dude.
Wow, what a combo.
Thing. So
the angsty teenager in you has to be really excited about that, right?
Dude, me and our other producer, Ben Hussey, who works with Josh, we were talking one day, because I've always ran into the issue where everyone tells me, oh man, you don't fit in with anybody in Nashville because you're not super poppy, but you don't also kind of fit in with all these people in Texas because you're not super country, you know, like you just kind of exist. And I was like, yeah. So
yeah, you're right.
We were looking at ways to broaden our platform, and I'm into all that punk rock and stuff, indie rock like that. So I have always been like, man, I'd love to tour and play with some bands in that area.
Yeah.
So we were trying to find ways to broaden the platform. He recommended reaching out to some people. I immediately thought of Bowling for Soup, and I don't know how and or why they agreed to do it, but I'm so agreed to do it. And I'm so thankful that they did. Jarrett Reddick is the coolest freaking guy. He's been great the entire way. Josh absolutely murdered it, producing it and engineering it with us. So I'm super excited for y'all to hear it.
It's awesome.
I'm excited to hear it too. And you said sometime in July. Are you at liberty to tell us the date in July? Do you know?
So we were trying to have it out for the weekend when we go up there to see y'all, but I think it's actually going to be coming out the 15th or like the 20-something.
Okay.
We're going to get it all scheduled for official release.
Yeah. Sure.
Tomorrow, so.
And had that been announced yet? I didn't see any mention of that anywhere on the internet.
Nope. Y'all are hearing it, I believe, second.
You heard it here second on the Arch City Music Podcast.
Breaking news.
Yeah. So it is, dude.
Broken news. So now my next question for you, the name. Can you tell us that?
I mean, if y'all want it, I can definitely tell you.
Yeah.
So we're doing a Bowling for Soup classic. We have reimagined it, and Jarrett is singing a verse with us, and we're going to cover Almost.
How cool is that?
Wow.
Now,
dude, as soon as they agreed to it, my stepdad had that Bowling for Soup record, Hangover You Don't Deserve, on freaking CD growing up. And so as soon as they agreed to do it and everything was final and we were going to do it, I immediately called my stepdad and fangirled for like 2 hours.
That is so cool. But now on the topic, my one last question is, and maybe being in touch with the band, maybe you've asked this question, it's an Austin thing, not an original thought, but do you think bowling for soup means they're bowling to earn soup or bowling in favor of soup, in memory of soup, in honor of soup?
I'm definitely thinking they're bowling in honor of soup. They probably already ate it, trying to cure their hangover, and then they're sad that they don't have it. So they're bowling in memory, in honor of the soup. That is my personal take on the name.
No inside info there.
No, unfortunately not. But hey, you know what? I'll get in the trenches. I'll do some research.
There you go.
I'll figure it out.
All right.
You're our inside source.
I'll hide outside of Jarrett's house with the microphone and just listen to everything until he reveals his secrets.
Just walk up and knock on his tour bus.
It's worked before, right?
Yeah, you've taken all the fun out of it. Come on.
So we're joined here by Austin Upchurch. We're going to be catching him July 9th with Gio and the Hired Guns at the camp at Lake Wapapella. And you can check out all his information at austytalksmusic.com. He's on Spotify and all the music platforms. Get him on the socials. Austin, we appreciate you joining us today for the Arch City Music Podcast.
Dude, thank you so much once again for having me out, man. I appreciate it.
It was fun, brother.
All right, take it easy, boys.
And I've cried